Dear students, we are now going to discuss about the chapter vector algebra. I think all of you are familiar about the topic vector. Okay, in the physics plus one, I think you all studied about the topic vector and also studied some basic properties, something dot product, cross product, and etc. Okay, in this year, the same topic we had discussed in the plus two mathematics. First of all, understand what is the word meaning vector. What is the word meaning vector? We can simply define a vector is a physical quantity. A vector is a physical quantity. Vector is a physical quantity which containing both magnitude and direction. Which containing both magnitude and direction. What's a vector? A vector is a physical quantity which has both magnitude and direction. That means if a object, that means a physical quantity which contains both magnitude and direction, it is called a vector quantity or vector. Otherwise, next one is scalar one. Scalar quantity. What's where in scalar quantity? Scalar quantity means which has only magnitude, no direction. Okay, that means a vector quantity means it containing both magnitude and direction. Scalar means it containing only magnitude. Okay, I am now going to separate the chapter into some forms. First one is some basic properties. Okay, that means addition and subtraction of vectors. Addition and subtraction of vectors. Addition and subtraction of vectors. I think all of you are familiar about the vector. Vector means axis containing x, y, and z. Okay, I am just explaining about some basic terms. That means this type is known as vector, and this symbol is known as cap. Okay, first means what is the basic representation of a vector? The basic representation of a vector can be using the small letter. That means, for example, a vector is equal to xi plus yj plus zk. A vector is equal to xi plus yj plus zk. This is the basic representation of any vector. The ij and k are the unit vector along axis we are studying in the physics. Okay, now we are going to discuss about how we can add and subtract vectors. That means how we can add and subtract vectors. The same procedure in the numbers, the same method that we follow here. Okay, I am taking some example. For example, a vector is equal to I plus j plus k. Next, b vector is equal to 2i plus 3j plus 4k. I am taking two vectors. A vector is equal to I plus j plus k and b vector is equal to 2i plus 3j plus 4k. Now I am going to find out the values of a vector plus b vector and a vector minus b vector. I am going to find the values of a vector plus b vector and a vector minus b vector. A vector plus b vector, that means add the given two vector. The same procedure that we use in the basic algebra. That means here first 1i plus 2i. What's the value of 1i plus 2i? We know that 1i plus 2i is equal to 3i. Okay. Next 1j plus 3j. What's the value of 1j plus 3j? It is 4j. Next 1k plus 4k. We know that 1 plus 4 is equal to 5 means 5k. Okay, it is out. Okay, no doubt. Okay, next one is a minus b. A minus b is the same method, the basic formula of subtraction. We know that I means the coefficient of I is 1. What's the value of 1 minus 2? All of them know that 1 minus 2 is minus 1. That means a minus b minus I. Next, 1j minus 3j. What's the value of 1 minus 3? 1 minus 3 is minus 2, minus 2j. Next, 1k minus 4k. What's the value of 1 minus 4? Minus 3k. This is the method for finding the addition and subtraction of vectors. Okay, how we can add and subtract vectors? The same formula we are used to find out the sum and difference. That means in order to add two vectors, first of all add the coefficient of I, then the coefficient of j, then the coefficient of k. In the subtraction, the same position, the same method, that means subtract the values. Okay. Okay. Next one is the term is magnitude. Next term is magnitude. What is the word meaning magnitude? Magnitude means distance. Okay. Also word meaning magnitude. Magnitude means distance. Otherwise known as modulus. Magnitude of modulus. That means, for example, I am taking 2 points. First example, I take the point as A, taking the point as B. The distance from A to B, is called the magnitude of the vector. That means, what is the distance between the points A and B is called the magnitude of the vector. Mathematically, we know that the distance is always a dash number. The distance is always a positive number. Simply, the magnitude of any vector is always a positive number. Okay. The magnitude is represented by the symbol modulus. That means two parallels. For example, the symbolical representation is magnitude of a vector. We can read it as magnitude of a vector. For example, I am taking the vector a vector is equal to, for example, I plus j minus k. I am taking the example a vector is equal to I plus j minus k. Now I am going to find out the magnitude of the given vector. Okay, that means going to find out the magnitude of the given vector. We can represent the symbolical way. The symbol is magnitude of A. The magnitude of any vector can be found out only taking the coefficient of the each variable. That means taking the coefficient of I and also taking the coefficient of j and also taking the coefficient of k. Then taking the square and also taking the sum. Okay. Here the coefficient of I is 1 and the coefficient of j is 1 and the coefficient of k is minus 1. That means first one is 1, second one is 1 and also third one is minus 1. Taking the square and also taking the sum. This is the method for finding magnitude of any vector. That means here the value is 1 square is 1, again 1 square is 1, minus 1 square is 1, therefore the answer is root 3. Okay, symbolically, magnitude of any vector is always a positive number. How we can find out the magnitude of a vector? Magnitude of a vector can be found out. First of all, take the coefficient of I, j and k. First of all, take the coefficient of I, j and k. Then taking square. Okay, if the coefficient is negative or a positive number, then taking square. Taking the square and then taking the sum and finally take up the square root. The equation is, for example, I am taking the generalized form a vector is equal to xi plus yj plus zk. Okay, the general formula is a vector is equal to x square plus y square plus z square. This is the general form of magnitude of any vector. Okay, magnitude of any vector can be found out by taking the coefficient of I, j and k, then taking the square, then taking the sum, then taking the square root of. That means a vector is equal to xi plus yj plus zk, then magnitude of a is equal to square root of x square plus y square plus z square. Okay. Okay, next one. I next take the next example. For example, b vector is equal to 2i plus 3j plus 4k. Okay, now here I am going to find the magnitude of the vector b. Magnitude of vector b. First of all, write the symbol. The magnitude is equal to square root. First of all, take the square root Then the coefficient of I, J and K. First is I, first one is 2, second one is 3 and next one is 4. Then taking the square and so also taking the sum. What is the value? Root of 4 plus 9 plus 16 is equal to root 29 is the answer. Okay, here we are studying the two topics. First one is how we can add and subtract vectors. Then we are studying the topic how we can find out the magnitude of any vector. How we can add and subtract two vectors? We can add and subtract two vectors in the general form of mathematics. That means how we can add a number. The same method we can use it to addition of vectors, and in the case of subtraction, the same method is used. Next one, that means magnitude of vector. How we can find out the magnitude of vector? The general form of any vector is A vector is equal to xi plus yj plus zk. This is the general formula of any vector. The magnitude is magnitude of A. The symbolical represents magnitude of A. Magnitude of A is equal to square root of x square plus y square plus z square. Okay, any doubt? Okay. Next we are going to the next topic, unit vector. Unit vector. Okay, first of all we have discussed about the next topic is unit vector. First of all, I just explain one thing. Unit vector of any vector can be found out by converting the given vectors into a vector. That means if we going to find out the unit vector, convert the given vectors into a vector. Okay, that means for example, I am taking the example A vector is equal to xi plus yj plus zk. This is the general representation of any vector. The equation for finding the unit vector is a cap. The equation for finding the unit vector is a cap. The equation is a vector divided by magnitude of A. That means the unit vector can be found out only by converting the given vectors into a vector. Here the vector is xi plus yj plus zk. If we converting the given vectors into a vector, then we can find out its unit vector in the way that the given vector by their magnitude. Okay, for example, I am taking the vector A vector is equal to xi plus yj plus zk. This is the general representation of any vector. Now I take in the values of x and y. 1i plus 1j plus 1k. How we can find the unit vector? A vector is equal to, first of all write the vector I plus j plus k. Then taking the magnitude of given vector. What is the coefficient of I, j and k? We know that the coefficient of I, the coefficient of j and the coefficient of k is 1. That means 1 square plus 1 square and again 1 square. The answer is root 3. Okay. That means first of all know that unit vector can be found out only by converting the given vectors into a vector. The equation is if a vector A vector is equal to xi plus yj plus zk, then its unit vector A cap. This representation is known as the equation for finding the unit vector. A cap means unit vector. A cap is equal to given vector by their magnitude. That means given vector by their magnitude. Okay. Okay, next one example. Please listen. A vector is equal to I plus j plus k. And B vector is equal to 3i plus 4j plus k. The question is, find a unit vector in the direction of A vector plus B vector. The question is, find a unit vector in the direction of a vector plus b vector. We are already studied unit vector can be find out only by converting the given vectors into a vector. Here we can convert the given two vectors into a vector because here the value is a plus b. That means find the unit vector of a plus b. Then first of all find the value of a plus b. How we can find the value of a plus b? The same procedure we have studied just before. 1i plus 3i is equal to 4i. 1j plus 4j is equal to 5j. 1k plus k is equal to 2k. This is the sum of the vector. Then find the unit vector of a plus b. I am just calling a plus b is equal to c vector. Then the unit vector is c cap is equal to c vector by magnitude of c. C vector by magnitude of c. What's the value of c vector? 4i plus 5j plus 2k divided by the magnitude of c. How we can find out the magnitude of c? First of all, the square of 4 is 16. 5 is 25. Again, 2 square is 4. 16 plus 4 is 20. 20 plus 25 is equal to 45. Okay. Any doubt? Okay, so unit vector of any vector can be find out only by converting the given vectors into a vector. Okay, here we are studying about three topics. First one is how we can add and subtract vectors. How we can add and subtract vectors. The same method that we used in the case of addition and subtraction. Just add the coefficient of I, again the coefficient of j, again the coefficient of k. And also in the case of subtraction, the same method, add the coefficient, subtract the coefficient of I, subtract the coefficient of j, and subtract the coefficient of k. And next one, we have studied about the magnitude. What is the weight meaning magnitude? Magnitude means symbolically we know the distance. The distance between the initial point and the terminal point is called the magnitude of any vector. The distance between initial point and the terminal point of a point is known as any magnitude of any vector. The magnitude is always a positive number. The distance cannot be negative. Therefore, the magnitude of any vector is always a positive number. How we can find out the magnitude of a vector? For example, the general representation is a vector is equal to xi plus yj plus zk. Then this magnitude is magnitude of a, symbolically magnitude of a is equal to root of x square plus y square plus z square. Okay, next we have studied the topic unit vector. First of all, concentrate on a sentence. Unit vector can be find out only by converting the given vectors into a vector. If some questions, two or more vectors are given, at that question there is a certain conditions are given to convert the given questions into a vector. Okay, in the second question here, find the unit vector in the direction of a plus b. Then first of all find the value of a plus b. Then find the unit vector. Okay, any doubt? Next one is dot product, DOT, dot product. The dot product is otherwise known as scalar product. The dot product is otherwise known as scalar product. Okay, the symbol is, this is the symbol for finding the dot product. This is the symbol. The symbol is called dot product. Okay. I am just giving an example to find out the dot product. For example, I am taking the vector a vector is equal to I plus j plus k and b vector is equal to 2i plus 3j plus k. I am going to find out the dot product of two vector a vector dot b vector. The dot product of two vector can be find out. First upon take the product of the coefficient of I, j and k. Here the coefficient of I is 1 and here the coefficient of I is 2. Take the product means 1 into 2. That's the value of 1 into 2, 2. Then also take the coefficient of j. In the first one the coefficient of j is 1. Second one 3. 1 into 3 is 3. The last one 1 into 1 is 1. Taking the sum. Okay. So that means the answer is 6. How we can find a dot product of two vector? First of all, take the product of the coefficient of I, then also take the product of the coefficient of j, and also take the coefficient of k. Then take the product and then take the sum. Generally,
ഇതിപ്പോ തുടങ്ങിയതല്ലേ? തുടക്കത്തെ ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി പറയുക. ഇടയിൽ വെച്ച് കണ്ടോ ചിലപ്പോ കട്ട് ചെയ്യണേൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും അല്ല.
Dot. Next topic is dot product. Okay, dot product is otherwise known as scalar product. The dot product is otherwise known as scalar product. The reason is the word scalar is means it is always a number. The scalar means always a number. That means the number 2, 3, 5, etc. If we take in the dot product of any two vectors, the resulting one is always a number. That's why dot product is otherwise known as scalar product. Okay. First of all, I just explain the general representation to find out the dot product of two vectors. For example, a vector is equal to xi plus yj plus zk. Next, b vector is equal to just ui plus vj plus wk. Okay, now I take in the dot product of two vector a dot b. That means first upon taking the product of I, or the coefficient of I, first one x, second one is u, x into u is xu, plus next one the coefficient of j, y into v, yv, next one z into w, zw. Okay, for example, I am taking the vectors. A vector is equal to I plus 2j plus 3k, and b vector is equal to 2i plus 3j plus 4k. I am taking two vector. A vector is equal to I plus 2j plus 3k, b vector is equal to 2i plus 3j plus 4k. Now I am taking the dot product of a and b. How we can take the dot product of a and b? First of all, take the product of the coefficient of I. Here the coefficient of I is 1. Here the coefficient of I is 2. What's the value of 1 into 2? 2. Again. Next the coefficient of j. 2 into 3. 6. Again. 3 into 4. So value 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. 18 plus 2 is 20. We always go the answer as a number. That's why the dot product is otherwise known as scalar product. Okay, now, okay, the second one. In order to show that two vectors are perpendicular, it is sufficient to prove that their dot product is 0. That means, in some questions, we need to show that the given two vectors are perpendicular. If perpendicular is otherwise known as orthogonal. The perpendicular is otherwise known as orthogonal. In order to show that two vectors are perpendicular or orthogonal, it is sufficient to prove that their dot product is 0. If the dot product of two vectors is 0, then we can say that the given two vectors are perpendicular or orthogonal. If the dot product is not a 0 number, that means not equal to 0, then the vectors are not perpendicular. Okay, I give second example. First one, check whether CHECK. Check whether the given vectors are perpendicular or not. The given vectors are perpendicular or not. How we can check the vectors are perpendicular or not? Only by taking the dot product. If we are taking the dot product of two vectors, the resulting answer is 0, then they are perpendicular, otherwise not a perpendicular. Okay, first one is the example. A vector is equal to I plus j plus 2k. Next one, B vector is equal to minus I plus 2j plus k. Okay, first one, A vector is equal to I plus j plus k. B vector is equal to minus I plus 2j plus 3k. Check whether they are perpendicular or not. How we can check it is perpendicular or not? Only by taking the dot product. Okay, I am taking the dot product. A dot B. What's the resulting answer? First, the coefficient of here is 1, minus 1. 1 into minus 1 is minus 1. Again, 1 into 2 is 2. Again, 2 into 1 is 2. What is the answer? 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. The answer not equal to 0. Therefore, it is the value. It is not perpendicular. Okay. How we can prove that two vectors are perpendicular or not? Only by taking the dot product. If the dot product is 0, then we can say that it is perpendicular or orthogonal. Otherwise, not perpendicular or not orthogonal. Okay. I'm just giving some more examples. Okay. Next topic. Angle between vectors. ANGLE. Angle between vectors. Okay, I am taking two vectors. First one is A vector and the second one is B vector, and the angle between them is theta. Okay, we can find out the angle between two vectors in two different ways. One in the value of sine and another in the value of cos. Okay, now I discuss how we can find out the angle between two vectors in the cos. Equation is cos theta is equal to A vector dot B by magnitude of A into magnitude of B. Okay. Equation for finding angle between two vectors is cos theta is equal to A vector dot B vector by magnitude of A into magnitude of B. I take some more example. First one, A vector is equal to I plus j plus k. First one. Next one is B vector is equal to 2i plus 2j plus k. Find the angle between them. Find the angle between them. Okay. First of all, write the equation. The equation for finding the angle between two vectors. Cos theta is equal to A dot B by magnitude of A into magnitude of B. First of all, find the dot product of given two vectors. What's the dot product of given two vectors? Here the coefficient of I is 1 and here is 2. 1 into 2 is 2. Then plus. And also here the coefficient of j is 1. And next one is j is 2. 1 into 2 is 2. Plus and last 1 into 1 is 1. Okay. That's the dot product of two vectors. The answer is 5. Next, taking the magnitude of first and second. What is the magnitude of A? Magnitude of A is equal to root of 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square. What is the value? Root 3. That means root 3. Next, magnitude of B is equal to root of 2i plus 2j plus k. Taking the square. 2 square is 4. Again 2 square is 4. Last one is equal to root 9. Substitute the given value. We got the answers. Cos theta is equal to 5 by 3 in root 3 into. Okay, root 3 into. That's the value of root 9 and the answer is 3. Is equal to 5 by 3 root 5. Cos theta is equal to 5 by 3 root 5. We want the value of theta. Theta is equal to cos inverse. If cos is going to the is equal right side, it will become cos inverse. Cos inverse 5 by 3 root 5. Okay. If you find out the angle, we can now discuss how we can find the angle between two vector. Angle between two vector can be found in two different way. First one is the way of cos and another one is the sine, which is the cross product. The cos theta is equal to a vector dot b by magnitude of a into magnitude of b. I have taken the example. A vector is equal to I plus j plus k and b vector is equal to 2i plus 2j plus k. Find angle. That means finding the which angle. If the question is find angle, here something doubt is angle is in the cos or in sine. If find angle only, find the cos angle. If find the sine angle, in order to find the sine angle, just always press the question. If only finding the angle, that means find out only the cos angle. Cos theta is equal to a dot b by magnitude of a into magnitude of b. How we can find a dot product of two vectors? By take the product of their coefficient and take the sum. Here the coefficient of I is 1 and here is 2. 1 into 2 is 2. Then again plus coefficient of j is 1. 1 into 2 is 2. Again plus 1 into 1 is 1. The dot product the value is 2 plus 2 plus 1 is equal to 5. Then taking the magnitude of two vector. First one is I plus j plus k, magnitude of root of 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square, root 3. Again, magnitude of b, 2i plus 2j plus k, answer is 2 square plus 2 square plus 1. Root of 4 plus 4 plus 1 is equal to root 9. We know that root 9 is equal to 3. Substitute the given two values in the equation. We got the answer is 5 by root 3 into 3. We got the value of cos theta. We don't want the value of cos theta. We want the value for the angle theta. Therefore, theta is equal to cos changes into cos inverse going to the is equal to right so in the left side. Here cos theta is equal to 5 by 3 root 3. 5 by 3 root 3. Here also 5 by 3 root 3. Okay, theta is equal to cos inverse 5 by 3 root 3. Okay, read out the next one. Next one, same model question. Find the angle between. So we find the angle. A vector is equal to I plus j plus k. B vector is equal to 2i plus j plus 3k. Find angle. In the same way we can find out the angle. The question is find angle only. That means find the cos angle or sine angle. The given question find the angle only. That means find out the which angle and the cos angle. Cos theta is equal to equation is a vector dot b vector divided by magnitude of a into magnitude of b. A dot b by magnitude of a into magnitude of b. How we can find a dot product? By take the product. 1 into 2 is 2. Again 1 into 1 is 1. 1 into 3 is 3. Magnitude of first vector I plus j plus k. Root of 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square. That means the answer is root 3 into second one root of 2 square plus 1 square plus 3 square. 3 square is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 40, root 40. Therefore, cos theta is equal to 2 plus 1, 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 divided by root 3 into root 40. Okay, we want the value of theta. Theta is equal to cos inverse 6 by. What's the equation of root a into root b? Root a into root b is equal to root of ab. We can take the product. That means what's the value of 3 into 14? 3 into 14 is 42. The answer is root 42. Therefore, theta is equal to cos inverse 6 by root 42. Read it out. Okay. What's the equation for finding the angle? Cos theta is equal to a vector dot b vector by magnitude of a into magnitude of a. If we are very doubt in finding the angle, first of all consider the question. The question find the angle, find the cos angle. If sometimes in the question the word stress find sine angle, then find out the sine angle. If we are studying the cos product, okay. If the here find out the only find the angle, that means finding the which angle cos angle only. Okay. Now. Okay, next one is projection. 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 Okay, I just explaining it with the example. First is I am taking two vectors, A vector and B vector. We can define the projection from A to B and B to A. Okay, if we are taking two vectors A and B, we can define the projection from A to B and B to A. In the case of A to B, if we are defining the projection from A to B, then the equation is A vector dot B by magnitude of B. Okay, in the case of finding the magnitude from A to B, the equation is A dot B by magnitude of B. In the case B to A, B vector to A vector, then we can find out the projection B vector dot A vector divided by magnitude of A. Symbolically, if you find out the projection of any two vector by taking the dot product, divide it by the magnitude where the vector going to second one. Okay, here the A vector going to where B vector, then divide it by B vector. In the second case, B vector going to the A vector, divide it by the A vector. For example, find the projection from I plus j plus k on the vector. Find the projection from I plus j plus k on the vector I minus j plus k. Okay, here the first vector is I plus j plus k, second vector is I minus j plus k. Here we are going to find the projection. That means taking the dot product of given two vectors and divide it by the magnitude of the second one. Okay, the projection of two vectors can be found out by taking the dot product, divide it by the magnitude of the which vector? First one or second one? Second one. The second one is which is the second one? I minus j plus k. First of all, finding the dot product. The dot product is this equal to 1 into 1 is 1. 1 into minus 1 is minus 1. 1 into 1 is 1. That means 1 plus minus 1 plus 1 divided by the magnitude of second one. What is the magnitude of second one? Root of 1 square plus minus 1 square plus 1 square. Okay, that means 1 plus 1 plus 1. Here we can cancel. The answer is 1 by root 3. Simple way, the simple equation. The projection of two vectors can be found out first upon taking the product. If we can define the projection from A to B and B to A, if we are taking the projection from A to B, equation is A dot B by magnitude of B, because here the vector A is going from A to B. The ending vector is B, therefore divide it by magnitude of B. And also in the case of second one, B to A, also the same way. First of all, taking the dot product, the vector is going from B to A, taking the magnitude of B, divided by the magnitude of B. In the same way, we can solve the under some questions. Question is, find the projection of the vector I plus j on the vector j plus k. Find the projection of the vector I plus j on the vector j plus k. That means first of all, find the dot product of given two vector, divide it by the magnitude of second vector. Here the coefficient of I is 1 and here there is no I, that means 1 into 0. We can write the standard form I plus j plus 0k. In the first one there is no k, we mark it as 0k. In the second one there is no I, let's mark it as 0i. Okay, 0i plus j plus k. The two vectors. How we can find the dot product? 1 into 0 is 0. Again 1 into 1 is 1. 0 into 1 is 0. Divided by the magnitude of second. Magnitude of second is 0 square is 0. 1 square 1. 1 square 1. What's the answer? 1 by root 2 is the answer. Okay. How we can find the angle between two vectors? Angle between two vectors can be find out using the dot product. Cos theta is equal to A dot B by magnitude of A into magnitude of B. Second one is projection. We can define the projection from A to B and B to A. How we can define projection from A to B? How we can define the projection from A to B? We can define the projection from A to B. First of all, take the dot product of A and B. That means first of all take A dot B, divide it by the magnitude of A or B, B, because here the vector A is from A to B. Okay. Second one is how we can define the projection from B to A. The same procedure. Say first of all take the dot product A, B and A, B dot A, divide it by magnitude of A because the vector is going from B to A. Okay. Okay. Here the initial point is A and terminal point of B. Mark it as AB vector. Okay. Initial point is A and terminal point is B. How we can find AB vector? AB vector is equal to, the equation is B vector minus A vector. Okay. AB vector is equal to, as equation AB vector is equal to B vector minus A vector. In this way we can find a CD vector. How we can find a CD vector? The same procedure. Second vector minus first vector. But second vector, D vector minus C vector. Next, how we can find out the X, Y vector? Second vector minus first vector. Okay. Here A is equal to 1, 2, 3. B is equal to 7, 4, 2. Find AB vector. A is equal to 1, 2, 3. B is equal to 7, 4, 2. Find AB vector. AB vector is equal to second vector minus first vector. That means 7 minus 1 is 6. 6i. 4 minus 2 is plus 2. 2 minus 3 is minus 1. 1. Okay. A minus B. AB vector is equal to B vector minus A vector. Similarly, I give next example. A is equal to 4, 3, 7 and B is equal to 7, 8, 3. Find AB vector. The same procedure as the equation for finding AB vector. AB vector is equal to B minus or A minus B. Second minus first. Then what is the answer? B minus A. B vector minus A vector. What is the value of 7 minus 4? 7 minus 4 is 3. Next, 8 minus 3 is 5. 3 minus 7 is minus 4. Okay. Next one is cross product. CROSS, cross product. The cross product is otherwise known as vector product. The cross product is otherwise known as vector product because if we find out the cross product of any two vector, the resulting answer is always a vector. Okay, if the cross product of any two vector is always a vector, therefore the cross product is otherwise known as vector product. Okay, what is the value of dot product? Dot product is otherwise known as scalar product because if we are taking the dot product of any two vector, the resulting answer is always a number. Okay, in the case of cross product, the resulting answer is always a vector. Okay, I take the example A vector is equal to I plus J plus K and B vector is equal to 2I plus 3J plus K. I am going to find out the cross product of given two vectors, A vector cross B vector. The cross product of given two vector can be find out only with the help of the determinant. Okay, in the case we are going to find the cross product. cross product of any two vector can be found only with the help of determinant. First of all, write the first row. First row, always write it as ijk. Then write the coefficient of first vector. Then write the coefficient of second vector. Here the coefficient of first vector is 1, 1, 1. Write in the way of row 1, 1, 1. And the second one is 2, 3, 1. 2, 3, 1. Okay, this is A cross B. Then find the cross product, that means taking the determinant value of the 3 by 3 determinant process. That means I am opening in the way of first row. In the first row, what's the leading entry? I cap is the leading entry. Excluding that row and column, what's the remaining one? If excluding that row and column, the remaining one is 1, 1, 3, 1. Next one is, the sign is minus j into, excluding that row and that column, the answer is 1, 1, 2, 1. And the last one is k cap into, excluding the row and column, 1, 1, 2, 3. The same process of 3 by 3 determinant. Okay, then next one is expand the 2 by 2 determinant. How we can expand 2 by 2 determinant A, B, C, D? The answer is AD minus BC, main diagonal minus opposite diagonal. Okay, here the answer is I cap into, what's the value of 1 into 1? 1 minus 1 into 3 is 3. Okay, next one is minus J cap into main diagonal, 1 into 1 is 1, minus 1 into 2 is 2. And also last one is K cap into 1 into 3 is 3, minus 1 into 2 is 2. Just open. 1 minus 3 is minus 2. That means the answer is minus 2i. Next 1 minus 2. Answer is minus 1. Minus into minus plus. That means plus j. And the last one is 3 minus 2. What's the value of 3 minus 2? The answer is 1. That means 1k. Look here. The resulting answer is always a vector. If we take the cross product of a two vector, the resulting answer is always a vector. Therefore, it is otherwise known as vector product. Okay. How we can take the cross product of two vector? First of all, try the determinant. Then the first row is always ijk. And the second row is coefficient of the first vector including the sign. The first vector including sign is 1, 1, 1. It is positive. There is no need for mention the positive. The number is sign negative. It is already mentioned. Second one is the coefficient is 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Open the any row or any column. The easy method for opening in the first row. I am opening using the first row. In the first row, the leading element is 1. The method for finding the 3 by 2 determinant is we can open it by any row, any column. Here we know that 3 rows and 3 columns. Here I am going to explain how to open it. I am taking using the first row. In the first row, the leading element is 1. Sorry, I. First of all, take the leading elementary I, exclude that row and column. The remaining one is 1, 1, 3, 1. Okay, then give the negative sign. Always give the negative sign. The opening process first is plus, minus, plus. Okay, second one number is take the negative sign. If the sign is positive, the negative is minus j. Excluding that array and that column, the one is 1, 1, 2, 1. The last one is positive, that is positive k into excluding that row and column, 1, 1, 2, 3. Then open using 2 by 2 determinant. How we can open 2 by 2 determinant? If the 2 by 2 determinant is the form A, B, C, D, we can open AD minus BC, main diagonal minus opposite diagonal. Okay, here 1 into 1 is 1, 1 minus 3, minus 2, minus j into 1 minus 2 is minus 1, minus into minus is plus. Okay, last one is 3 minus 2 is 1 is 1k. Okay, this is a method for finding the cross product. If we are taking the dot product, the answer is always a scalar. If I take the cross product, it is always a vector. Okay. In order to show that two vectors are perpendicular, their dot product is equal to 0. In this way, we can also find that if the cross product of two vectors is equal to 0, A cross B is equal to 0, then we can say that A and B are parallel vector. Okay. That means in order to prove that two vectors are parallel, it is sufficient to prove that their cross product is zero. If the cross product is zero, we can know that they are parallel vector. Dot product is zero, they are known as perpendicular vector. The perpendicular vector is otherwise known as orthogonal vector. Okay.